frustrating.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Just okay. I'm gonna just make sure everyone's okay. Everyone can hear me. Give me a raise of hands by any chance. Yes, okay, you guys can hear me. Great. So give me 1 second. So I wanted to announce we're trying something brand new today as part of Living Chassidus' expansion plan. And I wanted to share that, let me just fix this. We are actually going live on YouTube as well. So if for whatever reason our Zoom fills up, so we can, everybody can join also on YouTube. So that should be very exciting. And I think Eliana is here with us. I wanted to give are you able to, you can see me now, right? Yes, nods, okay, great, okay. So, Baruch Hashem, we are live on YouTube as well. So send it to your friends, send it to your family members. Rabbi Shais Taub is going to join us very soon. First, I want to introduce myself. I'm Michal Weiss, for anybody who doesn't know me yet. And I am here in Crown Heights, the Rebbe Shchuna, and we run an organization called Living Chassidus. Living Chassidus cares for women post-seminary that come to Crown Heights. Usually they come for the purpose of getting married and going through the process of shidduchim. So we take care of them both in the living aspect and in the chassidus aspect, and then we combine the two. So living aspect means once you join Living Chassidus, you're part of a community, you find a home away from home, a family here in Crown Heights that's there for you in every single way that we can be, whether you're sick and we help you out, or whether it's helping you find an apartment, or with shidduchim, all these kinds of things. We also run a whole series called Life Skill Series, which get ready for them. They are Mitzvah Hashem coming in the upcoming months. And we teach about women's health, or all kinds of anything that you could need in order to prepare for your next stages in life. That's one of the things we care for. We also take care of Chassidus, and we have regular Chassidus classes. Right now we're running this program, which Eliana is going to tell us more about in a few minutes. But our regular Chassidus classes, we have over the summer and during Corona, we had every single morning we had a mimer shir in the morning, and hopefully we'll be starting up in similar types of programs soon. But right now we're doing systematic Avodah initiative, which is something that we do 2 or 3 times a year, which is a everyday process of really working on ourselves and really taking our Avodah seriously. So one of the things that we do for Elul and Tishrei is based on the book 60 Days by Rabbi Simon Jacobson. Every day there's a reading. So our members join the program and they get to do the reading every single day. We then provide them with a beautiful journal and a pen, and they use it to journal. So as long as you do your reading every single day and at least one journal a week, you enter and you win a prize. So it's one of the things that we're going to announce everyone's names very soon. And I want to give a huge thank you to Eliana who has been taking care of this. This is one of our biggest programs of the year, and she has completely rocked it. So I want to give a shout out to Eliana and for all her hard work. And she's going to present us with our, good to know, she's going to present us with our winners and the prize. So, okay. And then just, yes, perfect. So Rabbi Shais Taub will begin at 8 o'clock. As soon as Eliana finishes, as soon as Eliana finishes presenting the prize and everybody who earned the prize. So go for it, Eliana.
Hello, everyone. Good Moed. I hope that the holiday is treating you nicely so far and that you are rejoicing b'simcha with Hashem. A huge kol hakavod to everyone who did their quota this week. And just to touch really quickly on what Michal said, the way we get our quota for the week is we do the daily reading that's in the 60 Days book, and we journal once a week. You could do more. If you do, shkach. If not, then okay. And hopefully there's been some self-refinement and development and beautiful learning that's occurred. And this week's prize, we have made personalized Havdalah cards. So Living Chassidus, Havdalah Seder cards with the Living Chassidus logo on it, as well as cute little succulents for your sukkah. And so don't fret, those who don't have a green thumb. Minimal water, minimal light, keep it in the in a room. Basically, if you forget about it, it's okay. Water it next month, it'll be fine. But it's a cute little idea. You know, maybe you can put it in the sukkah on Shabbos, and it'll make you smile. And then, you know, you earned this prize on Sukkot. Mazal tov. They do ship well. They are totally fine. They will be watered before they are shipped. That way they hopefully Bezras Hashem hold together. And yeah, so I will go ahead and read the ladies who did their quota for this past week. So a big yasher koach to Adina Lapine, Ariella Zuckerman, Chaya Matasov, Esther Citrin, Frema Heskovik, Lena Rezenzu, Nechamadina Herzl, and Ricky Winner, Rachel Schmerling, Ruta Cohen, Seema Marks, Shelby Aronson, Seema Dechevsky, Talia Haya Bloom, Tehila Diaz, and Sarah Schwendelson. So Mazel Tov. Of course, I will reiterate that if you feel as though your name was left off of the list, or if you were forgotten, or if you forgot to say that you did your quota, please do not hesitate to message me. You can find my number on the group. Please reach out. I'm a human. Humans make errors. So please, I don't want you to not get your prize, especially if you've done the hard work. So Mazel tov, everyone. And yeah, I hope that it's treating you all well. So with that, I guess we will go to Michal.
Yes, can you, I have to switch. It's a lot of manual work here, so give me 1 second. Can you see me yet? No, Eliana's still there. Okay, so for the time being, since it's a lot of settings that have to be changed, I want to make a huge thank you to every single person who has been working so hard as part of our leadership team. Living Chassidus, even through all this change in life that we have gone through over the past few months, we have still kept going strong. We have still kept going, giving classes and meeting new people, which was one of my biggest fears. How are we going to have new members through this change of tide? But Baruch Hashem, many new members, and we have welcomed a lot of beautiful people into our group. So I want to give a very special thank you to Rabbi Shais Taub. I have the great honor of having worked on a Tanya course based on his Tanya CDs, mapping the Tanya. So we, Baruch Hashem, a few years ago, I decided his work is incredible and it had to be shared. And not only that, but the Living Chassidus group really had to take it seriously. Don't just listen to the CDs and turn it off and life continues. But in reality, we have to really take it and think, how does this apply to my life? How do I live with this concept? Tanya isn't just a book of concepts, it's a book of help. It is here to guide you. And as he says in the CDs, that just like a recipe, when you want to make cookies, you follow the recipe for cookies. So Tanya is Sefer Shel Beinani, it's a recipe for a Beinani. So when we actually do the work, we actually get the results. And I want to thank Rabbi Shais Taub for helping bring so much to this incredible world by all the concepts in all of his books and all of his classes, especially now with Soul Words. If you haven't heard about it yet, they have a WhatsApp, daily WhatsApp. They also post up videos on YouTube. You can search his website. I'm pretty sure it's soulwords.org or .com. He'll tell us more about it. So with that, I would like to introduce Rabbi Taub. I will now change the video settings to him. So just give me 1 second. The person who usually does our video is not available today. So just give me 1 second and Rabbi Shais Taub can.
I think I did it.
Ah, thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm going to see. Oh, great. You have a light right here. Is that an outlet? Where's an outlet? Got it? Okay. I have my technical team here helping me with the light. Baruch Hashem, you see I'm in the desert. It's gorgeous over here, but the backlight's a little strong, so I'm a little bit getting a silhouette effect, but I'm trying to balance the light.
I need to get through.
You need to get through here? Okay. So, no, go ahead.
That way.
All right. One second. Yeah. Ah. Okay. Excellent. It's perfect. And
When you put it down.
Ron, just put it down. So help me out here.
Want it to be
Put
higher?
it flat. What?
Want it to be higher?
Yeah, I do want it to be higher. Okay, hold on a second.
Don't worry, we're all going through technical difficulties.
Doing our best over here.
Can you already do a specific version?
Mm-hmm. Oh, perfect. Okay. I don't know how to do some of this.
I'm kidding.
Okay. All right. All right. Great. Oh, and I'm also going to record a separate audio track just because sometimes the Zoom audio is a little bit spotty. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. It's working. Just plugged in. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. So, like I said, I'm in the desert. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the KMR Sukkot program, Baruch Hashem, having an opportunity here to teach Chassidus. And because of the wonders of modern technology, we're also able to do this. Initially, when we arranged this event, I thought I'd be in New York, but I'm in Arizona, but we can be anywhere at any time now because of Zoom. Okay. So You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share my screen for a second. Chrome tab. Yeah. Yeah. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay. This is volume 2 of the Igros. And this is a letter, as you see, which was written Ben Kesa La'aser Tafshin Hey. That means, that's a poetic way of saying the Aseres Yemei Tshuva. Kasa means the concealment, which is Rosh Hashanah, like we say, Tiku b'Chedesh Sheifer b'Kasa liyim Chagenu. So the moon is concealed on Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Hashanah is Rosh Chodesh. So Kasa means Rosh Chodesh or Rosh Hashanah. Ofser is 10. 10 is the 10th day of Tishrei, which is Yom Kippur. So Ben Kesa La'aser means Seres Yemei Tshuva. What year? Tafshin Hey. It had just turned Tafshin Hey, meaning the secular year, Lahavdil, would be only 1944 at that point. It was not yet 1945. And if you see who the letter is written to, it's written to Kved Avreiche Hatmimim, to the honorable young men, the Tmimim, meaning the students of Teimche Tmimim. Where? In Montreal. There are different kinds of letters that the Rebbe wrote over the years. Most notably, the majority of the Igros are letters that were written to individuals. And then there's something called the Michtav Klali, which was a pastoral letter that the Rebbe would write a number of times throughout the year, which was addressed to all Jews everywhere. And then there's something called the Michtav Klali Prati, which had a certain amount of text, which was general for everyone. Then it had added to it some personalized messages. And then you have a group letter like this, which is not as usual, not as common. But this was a letter that was written to the Bachram in Montreal Yeshiva in like we said, 1944. And these were boys who came over from Europe. Many of them, a large group of them, came from Shanghai, from China, where they were hiding during the war. And they were zeiche to have this direct communication with the Rebbe. And in this letter, the Rebbe says, I'm going to give you a farbrengen on paper. So this letter is a farbrengen on paper. That's what the Rebbe calls it. And it happens to be, although it's written in a Seres Yemei Tshuva, it's particularly apropos to right now, as we head into Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. So I will give over the general teichen of the letter, but if you want to see it in its original, it is the second volume of Igros, very, very first letter of that volume. So there's a Gemara in Saita, Daf Yudala Amid Aleph, that points out something interesting about Torah, that Torah both begins and ends with chesed, with kindness. Specifically, near the beginning of the Torah, it says that Hashem made clothes. He clothed the naked. He's malbish harumim. For whom? For Adam and for Chava. That's an act of chesed. Clothing the naked is an act of generosity, kindness. Then near the very end of the Torah, Hashem buries the dead. For whom does he perform the mitzvah of burying the dead? For Moshe. For Moshe. It says he buried him in the valley. It's talking about Moshe. So the Gemara says we see that Torah begins and ends with an act of kindness. But here's a question. So in addition to the fact that we learned from this how important kindness is, that Torah begins with kindness and Torah ends with kindness, is there any particular relevance, is there any particular significance to the particular acts of kindness? In other words, yes, we can learn a general idea that kindness in general is extremely important, and you can see that from the fact that Torah is bookended, so to speak, with kindness at the beginning and kindness at the end, kindness running through the entire Torah. Yeah, that's a general lesson about the general importance of kindness. But what can we learn from the specific instances of kindness, the kindness at the beginning of Torah and the kindness at the end of Torah? What's the specific lesson based on the specific instances? So, first of all, notice that these two examples of kindness, who is the one doing the kindness in both instances? Who is the Goimel Chesed? Who is the bestower of kindness in both instances? It's interesting. It's Hashem. Now, it's not that surprising, I guess, that Torah would begin with an act of kindness on Hashem's part, because Hashem is the ultimate initiator of kindness, right? Hashem started being kind before the Torah even begins, right? The whole premise of creation is an act of kindness. So the fact that Hashem is the first one being kind in Torah, but Hashem's even the last one being kind in Torah. The kindness that we're reading about is not kindness, in other words, between one human being and another human being, although there are plenty of instances of intrapersonal kindness throughout Torah. However, the bookends, the beginning and the end of kindness in Torah, are both acts of divine kindness, of Hashem's chesed to man. So that's the first important thing to take notice of. But second of all, notice for whom the kindness is being performed. Okay, so the first thing we noticed is who's performing the kindness, Hashem. But also notice for whom or to whom is the kindness being done. These two situations actually are two opposite recipients of kindness. Couldn't be more opposite. Because you're looking at man in his very lowest moment in all of human history, and man in his very highest level, the very highest level of human evolvement or development. How so? First, let's look at Adam. When Hashem clothed Adam, he had just fallen to the lowest level. He just sinned. Also, the very fact that he even needed clothes was a symptom of the sin. Because if you remember, before he ate from the Eitz Hadas, Adam and Chava were completely innocent, like babies. They were naked and they were not ashamed. So the need for clothing itself was indicative of the spiritual fall they had just experienced. That's first of all. Second of all, their physical nakedness, as Rashi says, their physical nakedness is symbolic of their spiritual nakedness. They were arumim. From what? Mikola mitzvahs. They were naked of mitzvahs. They were given one commandment, and they couldn't keep it. And so they had lost their mitzvah, and their physical nakedness was sort of an outer manifestation of their spiritual nakedness. They were naked of mitzvahs. And yet, notwithstanding the fact that At that moment, Adam was at the lowest point of human failure, spiritual bankruptcy, the failure which is the root of all future human failures. Adam was still a recipient of Hashem's kindness. Hashem did not begrudge Adam of his kindness. Now let's contrast this. Contrast this with the last act of kindness in the Torah, when Hashem does kindness for Moshe Rabbeinu. At the time of his passing, Moshe Rabbeinu was on the highest possible level that a human being can reach. We know there are Nun Share Bina, 50 gates of understanding. And in his lifetime, Moshe Rabbeinu could only reach Mem Tes, gate 49. But being that tzaddikim are even greater after their passing than in their lifetime, so at the time of his passing, Moshe rose to an even higher level than he had ever been before during his life, and he attained Shar Nun, the 50th level, which, by the way, is hinted to by the fact that the Torah tells us no man knew his burial place. What does it mean, no man knew his burial place? The Alter Rebbe says in Likutei Torah, it means no man can understand, can fathom the place that Moshe reached at the time of his burial. No man knew his burial place literally means that they can't find it. You can't find it on a map, like the Gemara talks about it. But also it means where Moshe reached on the day of his passing, we can't even wrap our minds around such a level, let alone attain it. Also, it's hinted to the fact that Arizal says, where was Moshe buried? Har Nevoi, right? That's what the Torah says, Har Nevoi. So the Arizal says Nevoi is Nun Bai. Nun, 50, Bai are in it. That when Moshe reached the level of his passing, he was finally at Shar Nun, the 50th gate. And nobody could even comprehend that level. So we're talking about someone who had reached the highest level that a human being can reach. The very highest spiritual ascent. And yet, even at that level, whatever Hashem did for Moshe at that time by burying him is still considered an act of kindness. Kindness, chesed, is chesed chinam. Kindness means grace. It means gratuitous kindness, unearned. So even a tzaddik like Moshe, on the day of his highest attainment in this world, his receiving Hashem's kindness is still considered that, kindness, an unearned favor from Hashem. So what do we learn from this, from these two examples, at the very beginning of the Torah and at the very end of the Torah? What we learn is specifically a lesson about when it's appropriate to look for and to rely upon Hashem's kindness. From Adam Arishan, we learn that even when we're at our very, very lowest moments, even when we made terrible mistakes and we've fallen and we are undeserving, we've messed everything up, we can still turn to Hashem and rely on his gratuitous kindness. That's what we learned from Adam, the first act of kindness in the Torah. From Moshe, what do we learn? That even when we're at our highest moment, when we've achieved so much, we have so much to be proud of. Nevertheless, we have to view anything that Hashem gives us at that point as an unearned gift, as just kindness. We have nothing coming to us. We didn't earn anything. We don't deserve anything. No entitlement whatsoever. Which is it's a Maimon Chazal. Chazal tell us that tzaddikim never rely on their schusim. Whatever they ask for from Hashem, it's never, oh, I earned this, you owe me that. It's always, the attitude is always that whatever Hashem gives is chesed chinam. And that's the attitude that we have to learn from Moshe, that even at the highest level a human being could ever reach, whatever he receives from Hashem at that point is still considered kindness. So we all have our relative Adam moments, and we have our relative Moshe moments. But the common thread that runs between them is that we can always and must always rely on Hashem's kindness. Never despair of Hashem's kindness because you've fallen too low, and never assume that you're no longer in need of Hashem's kindness just because you've risen so high. So that's a general lesson in our Avodas Hashem that's applicable all year. Now, this also happens to be particularly fitting at this time of year, as the Rebbe explains in this letter. This is a general attitude for all year long, but it's particularly fitting right now at this time of year. Let's think about it. The high holiday season. Let's look back. Where did it all start? It started on Rosh Hashanah. Now, when we come to Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, we don't come to Hashem as people who are confident in their merits. No. To the contrary. What do we say? We say in Avinu Malkeinu, Ein bono maisim. We have no good deeds. I'm sure you have some good deeds. No. Ein bono maisim. We don't have good deeds because we're not looking at it that way. And in fact, in the Machzor, on Rosh Hashanah, we even say, Rumim nesarnu. We are left naked. We call ourselves spiritually naked. We have nothing. We're standing here in front of Hashem with nothing. It's not that we're coming here, we're saying, oh, look, we did this, we did that. Hashem, what can you manage? Can you manage to give us a deal for the few spiritual dollars that we have? No, we don't. We come in and we say to the shopkeeper, we have nothing. We don't even have a few pennies. What can you give us as an unearned gift? So on Rosh Hashanah, we turn to Hashem and we ask Hashem to clothe the naked. We stand in front of Hashem, dalim verekim, impoverished and empty. Right? It's from a song, right? Dalim verekim. Now you know why I speak and I don't sing. So that's the first thing that happened. And then what happens, of course, because Hashem is the ultimate in Chesed, so he clothes the naked, just like he did on the first Rosh Hashanah, interestingly enough. Because that incident of Chesed that we just spoke about, when Hashem clothed Adam, when did that happen, actually? On Rosh Hashanah, because on the very day that Adam was created, he sinned, he was expelled from the garden, and he was clothed. So literally on the very anniversary of that day, when that energy is in the world again, you know how Jewish time works. It's cyclical, like a spiral staircase. Although it's cyclical, we come back to each point on the circle each year, right? Oh, here's Rosh Hashanah again. Oh, here's Pesach. Oh, here's Rosh Hashanah. But it's like a spiral staircase because it's on a higher level each year. It's more intense. There's an Oyer Chodesh. There's a new light each year. So think about it. Each year we come around to that anniversary, but on a higher level of when Hashem clothed Adam, when Hashem had gratuitous kindness for Adam. And we ask him to do the same for us again, that we are spiritually naked and impoverished, and we're not asking to trade because we have nothing to trade with. We're just asking for compassion. And Hashem responds to us just as he responded to Adam on that very day, 5,781 years ago. Then, throughout the high holiday season, these powerful days, they do their work. And we get lifted up, ascent after ascent. We get lifted up to Yom Kippur, where we're like angels. And then we're lifted up to Sukkot, when we celebrate together in unity and in pure joy. And then finally we get lifted up to the ultimate ascent, Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. That's the climax of the high holiday season. A lot of people don't realize this. They don't appreciate it. In Chabad, there's a particular emphasis on this. But, I use the term high holidays. It's actually, high holidays is a very American expression. There's Yomim Noarayim, days of awe. So days of awe is a translation of a Jewish concept. But high holiday, whatever, it's in English. It's in English. I'm an American boy. I speak, that's how I speak. But if there's a concept called high holidays, then there should also be a concept of the highest holidays. So if the high holidays are Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, then the highest holidays are Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, and Simchas Torah. And in Chabad, you definitely feel this, and by the Rebbe, definitely this is what was seen, that the ultimate climax of everything that started Rosh Hashanah, really it started with Melech Basada back in Elul, it started with the whole warm-up, the whole build-up, but the climax came about on Simchas Torah, and that's when we're at our highest level. And you think about it, not just the Rebbe, but every Jew on that day, Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah, think about what it represents. The whole concept of Shmini Atzeres, of the korban being one bull, right? The sacrifice, the offering in the Beis Hamikdash, in the Holy Temple, was one bull. What's the idea? It represents the fact that during the whole Sukkot, 70 bulls were brought, which represent the 70 nations of the world. But on Shmini Atzeres, one bull, which represents the unique relationship of one nation, the Jewish people, with Hashem. And that's tied in with the whole name of Atzeres. Atzeres means lingering. And there's a medrash that explains that a king made a party and everybody came to the party. But at the end of the party, he turned to his best friend and he said, hey, now that all the guests have left, how about you and I hang out together and just, one-on-one? So the 7 days of Sukkot, we brought the sacrifices of the bulls for all the nations of the world. And we bring blessing to all the nations of the world. But after that's all done, the king turns to us, the Jewish people, and says, hey, let's have some private time now. Let's linger together. And that's Atzeres, Shmini Atzeres. Shmini means the 8th, so the 8th day. Atzeres, of lingering. Let's hang out together, just you and me. It's like the husband and the wife who make the big Shabbos meal, and they have all the guests come, and they impress everybody, and it's so nice, and they put everything into just being the ultimate hosts, and it's so exciting, it's so exhilarating, especially if like you're a young couple, let's say, and it's one of your first times. But even when you get older, it's a big deal. You to host people, to entertain, and then at the end of the evening, the last guest leaves, and you look at your spouse and you say, now let's sit down at the table. Let's not clean up yet. Let's just have a cup of tea together, and let's just enjoy each other's company. That's Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, which are the same day. So think about the level that we reach on Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, where we're sort of just hanging out one-on-one with our beloved, with Hashem. We're at the apex of our spiritual ascent, this process that was growing during the entire Tishrei, and now we hit it. Now we hit the highest level. So, you'd think at that point, I've come so far, I've reached so high. What's my status now? Surely I've earned the right. If I'm asking for anything from Hashem at this point, it's not a freebie. I've surely earned it to some extent. No, it's still a freebie. Even when we've come to our highest level, we still look at Hashem as our compassionate Father who's just being kind for no reason. So, on Rosh Hashanah, when we knew we were naked and impoverished and empty and ein bano maisim, we have no credit to our name. So then we knew we were asking for a freebie. The only concern on Rosh Hashanah is you might think you're so low that how dare you ask for a freebie? And we say, no, of course you dare. Of course you dare. Because you could always rely on Hashem's kindness. But then the opposite lesson comes on Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. When we're at this apex of spiritual development, we shouldn't think, oh, well, now we've earned the right to ask for something. No, we never earned it. We're still just as empty as we were in Rosh Hashanah. And yet, we still ask. Why? Because Hashem is infinitely kind. And what day is it is just uncanny. If you think about the fact that Rosh Hashanah, when we are at our lowest, when we are impoverished, and we claim no zchusim, we claim no merits, we just say, Hashem, please be compassionate. That day, Rosh Hashanah, is literally the anniversary of when Hashem clothed Adam on the sixth day of creation. Well, you know what? Shmini Atzeres is not the anniversary of, but it is linked to the day when Moshe reached his highest level. It's not literally the anniversary on the calendar, but it is linked to, because of the Torah reading, when we read on Simchas Torah, V'zeis habracha, the completion of the Chumash, we read about Moshe Rabbeinu on his highest day, his highest level of attainment, being at Shar Nun, Har Navai, Nun Bai, the 50th gate, and yet Hashem does chesed, does kindness for Moshe. It's still considered chesed, no matter how high of a level Moshe has reached. Whatever Hashem did for him is still considered chesed. And so that's mirroring the fact that on Simchas Torah, after the whole evolution of the whole high holiday season, we've come to our highest level. We've come to our highest level, and yet whatever we ask for from Hashem, we're also asking for it as chesed chinam, as gratuitous kindness. So that's our lesson. That we're coming up to the highest level, and we're about to start a new year. And the new year will surely bring us highs and even greater highs. We don't need any lows. But whatever happens in the coming year, we need to know that whatever situation we're in, we can and we must turn to Hashem for gratuitous kindness. There's never a situation in life, doesn't exist. There's never a situation in life where we can't ask Hashem for his kindness, or where we don't need to ask Hashem for his kindness. That is the constant. That is the constant, and that is the lesson that we learn from the fact that Torah begins with an act of kindness and ends with an act of kindness. We should see lots and lots of Hashem's kindness for ourselves and for the whole world this year.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very, very much, Rabbi. We really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody over there in Arizona is having a wonderful time getting all this wisdom all the time. So we're very lucky for Zoom, and we're very lucky to have you even when you're that over there.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I'm glad to be able to do it.
Baruch Hashem. And I want to bench everybody here, including Rabbi Taub, that we should really appreciate this kindness and see it in essence, really take it. I was speaking yesterday and I mentioned that sometimes we forget the water in our lives, the simple things, and we should realize that even those simple things that we may take for granted, now we appreciate certain things that we didn't appreciate before, such as walking around without a mask, or being able to hug someone, being together, going to shul. But we should really focus on those things and really see Hashem's kindness, even in those things that we take for granted sometimes. So I want to give a bracha to everybody that they should enjoy this time and they should appreciate the highest of the high and have this level.
Amen. Okay. Anything else from me? I mean,
is it okay if we open up for questions in case there are any questions?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourselves. Okay, I think, unless someone's typing it, I think that might be it. Thank you so much, Rabbi Taub. We really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Good night.
Good night. Be well.
Right, thank you.